So we'll be going over all of your Mercury signs during this video through the 12 houses: Aries, Taurus, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, um, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, of course. We'll be going through all of the 12 signs, and I'm just going to try to break down all of the alignments to pretty much explain why you may overthink from a fourth dimensional perspective. Okay? So don't forget to comment your zodiac sign. Don't forget to comment, because what we'll do, I'll read the comments and I'll break it down live, okay? Okay. So Mercury and Earth through the 12 houses. Why you may overthink as someone with a Mercury and Aries alignment, okay? All right, so we're gonna go over the first house, right? So the first house is the first area of life. This area of life deals with your personality, individuality, and how others see you, correct? So with that being said, if you have Aries there, right, and Mercury rules how you think, your decision making, and how do you pretty much make decisions, and take action on them decisions you made, right? Just think about it. Um, if Mercury was if Mercury was a part of your body, it would be connected to your brain, right? So I'm going to explain exactly what Mercury is, the areas of life, and I'm also going to be breaking down um, the energy you need to play out so that you can avoid overthinking and instead structure and recalibrate your thoughts so that you could pretty much increase your IQ and also decision making. So we're about to start now. Let me see if anybody else is in here. Okay, I'm gonna start now. So Mercury and Aries through the 12 houses. So Mercury and Aries in the first house. The first house rules individuality, your personality, and how others see you. To give you an example, if we was talking about real estate or a car, it would be how your car come across or how your house look from the outside in. This is what the first area of life also resembles as well. How you look from the outside in, and then how you look from the outside from others' perspective, your personality and individuality. All right. So since Mercury rules how you think and your decision making. With that being said, and when you put that in the first house, when you put Mercury and Aries in the first house, and Aries rules initiating and creating new ways to just basically initiate. So you're focusing on initiating, sparking things off. Think about spring season, right? So you're pretty much focused on being first, initiating, pioneering, sparking something like the spring season, right? We have Capricorn season. I mean, we have winter season, and then it resets into spring season. You get what I'm saying? So that shows Aries is the spark. You get what I'm saying? It's the first fire sign. It's a cardinal fire sign where it's focused on initiating. It's not fixated like Leo, like the sun that comes around every day at the same time. It's not mutable like Sagittarius. Like some fires may be smoke here, flames here. It's just mutable. It could be both ways. Aries is more so the spark, the beginning. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so now since I broke that down, so if you got Mercury and Aries in the first house, your thoughts need to be focused on you as an individual. They need to be focused on um, having a leader mentality. Focusing on yourself, not others. Right? Do not focus on others with this placement. You could use others in regards to if you guys was on a team, but you need to be the leader of this team. You get what I'm saying? Also, you might come across as selfish. However, with this placement, you want to know, okay, if I got Mercury and Aries in the first house, I need to think about myself. I need to think about, being first. I need to think about pioneering, creating something new. You get what I'm saying? This is Mercury and Aries in the first house. So that's the first house. I'm gonna break this down. So go ahead and like and subscribe. What I'll do is, and also comment your Mercury sign. What I'll do is I'll read that so that it could be more interactive. So we're gonna start this off with free astrology readings. So go ahead and comment your sign, and I'll go ahead and break it down live. Right? Okay. So we're going over the ways people overthink and how to pretty much increase individuals' IQ by knowing exactly your alignments and how to play them out on Earth. You get what I'm saying? All right. So Mercury in the second house or the second area of life in Aries. With that being said, the second area of life is fixated. It's dealing with Taurus energy, planting seeds. It's dealing with appreciation, things that grow over time. So growing over time is basically seeing something at one stage, a beginner stage, and then that appreciate over time. This is what we're calling growth, appreciation, and this is also how money works. You invest X amount of dollars in Apple stock and it appreciates, so you earn money. This is the second house, Taurus. This is why we saying Taurus the second house deal with money because it just deals with appreciation. So the second house is dealing with your values, your appreciation, and also if you just want to sum it up, money, right? So if you got Aries and Mercury in the second house, you need to be focused on things that you appreciate, like literally, because Aries symbolize individuality, your personality, and how you come across. You already gonna come across like you only focus on your money and things that you appreciate. You already gonna come across um like you already gonna be focusing on ways that you can make money, ways that things appreciate over time, and things that you value, not the world, but specifically you. So when you have Mercury and Earth in the second house or the second area of life, you need to be focused on things that you could create, that you value individually, and then you can figure out, okay, what is my values? Just ask yourself, what are my values? Once you find out your values, right? These are worth something. You can monetize your values with displacement. You get what I'm saying? So with Mercury in the second house or the second area of life, you're going to be focusing on your individual assets. You're going to focus on appreciating and building your character to where as though it could become worth something. You get what I'm saying? And you should be communicating in a way that deals with your values. Only talk about your values. Only talk about what you appreciate, assets that you have that's appreciating over time. Um, and this way, when you're focusing on that way your mind could be operating smooth. You don't want to be talking about other appreciation, other people appreciation, or shared resources. You want to specifically focus on things that appreciate in your life and what you value. So let's see if anybody commented so we can break the alignments down. All right, I'm gonna finish it up. All right. So if you got all right, so Sun and Aries in the third house. Okay, so how to avoid overthinking from a fourth dimensional perspective so that you can select your thoughts and understand how you work from the inside out, right? So the third house deals with communication, community, commerce, like marketplaces. Like in Ethiopia, where I'm at right now, they have a local marketplace called Mercado. This also will be third house energy. You get what I'm saying? So COMM, just remember that. The third house deals with three COMMs: communication, community, commerce. You get what I'm saying? So you want to focus on these three things. Well, actually, it's four COMMs: community, communication, commerce, like marketplaces, and commuting, local travel. You get what I'm saying? Let's say if you was a truck driver or you traveled locally. These are the four COMMs that deal with the third house. It also deals with your conscious mind, not your subconscious mind like Pisces, but the stuff that you can actually think and be aware of in your head, the stuff you read in books and can regurgitate this information, the stuff you actually logically know the both sides of. You get what I'm saying? So if you have Mercury and Aries in the third house, you want to only talk about things that like your community. You only want to talk about how you in ways that you can communicate, right? And make decisions based on what you're trying to communicate. You want to focus on commuting in ways that you can see the both sides of something, but also travel in a way that that you could be a leader. You get what I'm saying? Travel where, like, don't ever take no one else's advice when it comes to, you know, traveling locally. Also, you want to pretty much be able to have your own conscious mind. You don't want to be regurgitating other people's information. You want to be able to, be that one, that leader, that Aries, that Mercury Aries, that come up with his or her own mental framework on how to communicate. You get what I'm saying? If you're in the marketplace, you want to pretty much come up with inventions or pioneer things and be the first one to come up with something in that field. You get what I'm saying? And also the third house rules your siblings. You want to be pretty much be able to communicate with your siblings as a leader as well. You want to pretty much be able to your own individual when it comes to this area of life. You can easily be persuaded in this area of life. However, you need to be conscious that you need to come up with your own decisions. You need to be an individual, and you need to pretty much be a leader in the area of life when it comes to community, communication, commerce, and commuting. Let's see if anybody commented so I can break down that chart. All right. So Mercury and Aries in the fourth house. So the fourth house rules your private life, your family, roots, your culture, and how you nurture, right? So if you have Mercury and Aries in the fourth house, you want to be you want to get so if you have Mercury and Aries in the fourth house, you want to communicate in a way with your family. Like I said, you want to communicate with your family as a leader. If you rep your culture, you want to pretty much be like a pioneer in your culture. You want to be the one who people come to for certain stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? Also, you're going to come across as individualistic when it comes to how your family perceive you. However, you need to keep in mind that someone needs to lead. Someone needs to pretty much be an individual. Someone needs to pretty much someone need to pretty much pioneer a way for things to happen when it comes to cultures, family, roots, your bloodline, because this is how people, nations, civilizations advance. You get what I'm saying? You need that forward thinker, that one that's gonna spark that new idea, that one that's gonna create new opportunities when it comes to things that you're familiar with, your private life, your roots, your culture. You get what I'm saying? So make sure you're still an individual in this phase. Also, um, you wanna pretty much I'm gonna just sum this up. You wanna just be a leader amongst your family. You wanna pretty much if you ever get stuck when it comes to thinking and you're overthinking, um, if you communicate with your family or you spend private time alone in your own house, you get what I'm saying? Then ideas should be flowing because you have, like I said, you have Mercury and Aries in the fourth house. So Mercury and Aries in the fifth house. So this deal with creativity, leisure activity, how you shine. You get what I'm saying? And then casual activities. and also have to deal with kids as well. So if you have Mercury in the fifth house, you avoid overthinking um by understanding that you have to be creative in the way you think. You have to pretty much not only be creative, but you have to pioneer different ways, or lead in different ways that you can actually express your creativity, so it can come across, and it could come across like you're not aggressive, because Aries can seem a little aggressive, but you want to have creative activities where your mind can flow, but you could also express yourself in a way where it don't seem rageful. You get what I'm saying? Because Aries is ruled by Mars, um, and pretty much most of Aries creative abilities either come from pioneering and creating new stuff, or things that deals with passion, aggression. So make sure that you select something to express your creativity in a way where it would be accepted. You get what I'm saying? Another thing is that you may be thinking about like kids, like, you may be thinking about like how kids can help you become a better leader, become a better individual. Um, you also may only like this can trigger other people could perceive this as narcissism, because the fifth house is ruled by the sun as well. Um, and Aries is only worrying about their self. You get what I'm saying? So in the fifth house, you have to be very cautious of how you go about making decisions and thinking about things, so that you're like not strictly only worrying about yourself. Let me see. Go ahead and double tap that screen. All right, and comment your Mercury sign, and I'll read it. You get what I'm saying? Um, So, all right. So Mercury and Aries in the sixth house. The sixth area of life deals with your daily habits. And by the way, this is stuff I wrote down. I'm not regurgitating information. You get what I'm saying? So this just helps me stay on track. So, because I got to go through over 100 plus placements, so I just want to stay on track. So the sixth area of life deals with your daily habits, scheduling, and your habits such as your eating habits, your workout habits. It also deals with you know being organized on that cynical type of energy, right? So if you got Mercury in this area of life, you're gonna be an individual. You got Mercury areas in this area of life, you supposed to be like the example of what it is to be in shape, the example what it is to be have good eating habits, the example of what it is to be organized. You get what I'm saying? This a good placement to have, because let's say, like, if you was to develop habits where you hitting the gym 24/7, with Mars ruling Aries, you'll be able to express yourself in a way where thoughts will pretty much calibrate effortlessly. You'll be able to clear your mind when you're working out. You get what I'm saying? Also, you could come up with new ideas when it comes to like eating habits or lifestyle when it comes to eating. For example, Dr. Sebi, I think he was an Aries. He got Aries somewhere in his chart. But you see how he pretty much pioneered, like, food was already here, eating healthy was already here, but he pretty much pioneered how people do it, and he was like an example of it. This will be an example of displacement, like the sun and this. I mean, Mercury and Earth in the sixth house. So you'll constantly be thinking about different eating habits, uh, different workout habits, how you can take take action and be a leader when it comes to being organized, and you may be very cynical when it comes to these things as well. So Mercury and Aries in the seventh area of life, or the seventh house. So the seventh house, or the seventh area of life, deals with relatability, one-on-one relationships. It deals with fairness, justice, law, and also language. So with that being said, um, this will be a learning curve because it's a square or the opposite of what Aries is used to. Aries is used to being its own individual. It's used to being its own individual. If you're not your own individual as an Aries, you'll pretty much be off track. For you guys that like the video, I want you to comment your Mercury, your zodiac, far as what you have Mercury in for a free zodiac reading. I'm doing free one starting out, and we're gonna break it down from there. But anyway, all right. So when it comes to displacement, right? If you got Mercury and Aries in the seventh house, with that being said, it's a learning curve. It's the opposite of what Aries is. Aries used to be an individual, right? So anytime you gotta depend on someone else as an Aries, with that being said, oh, somebody commented, yo, hey, what's up, bro? Comment what sign your Mercury is in, and I'll read it. You get what I'm saying? So if you if you're Aries or have Mercury in Aries, Aries is used to being an individual. It's not used to rely on other people. So the minute you gotta rely on other people, in this case we're talking about Mercury, other people thoughts and the way they think, some regurgitated information that somebody else is giving you on a one-on-one basis, it's going to pretty much put your mind in like a spiral, a fucking rabbit hole. So you want to pretty much make sure you're going off your own thoughts in this area, but make sure you can also be a team player, be an individual, but with inside of a team. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to this area of life, when as far as relationships, it's important that you relate to others because as a human, this is one of the most important things. It's important that you relate to other people. So if you too much of an individual, this will push people away. In order for you to participate, you have to pretty much make sure that you don't think like selfish and instead you are leading a team. So make sure that all your thoughts, right? The thoughts you have in this area of life, make sure they're grand and big enough so two people can benefit from this. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to relating one-on-one relationships, fairness, justice, you get what I'm saying? You might want to take action when it comes to justice if somebody screw you over. Love, the same thing. You might want to take and initiate action soon as someone step across that line, right? But this is how you could utilize displacement. Pretty much knowing that um you still need to initiate. You still need to be an individual, but your thoughts need to pretty much help whatever team or one-on-one relationship you're a part of. You get what I'm saying? Let's see whatever comments we have. Yo, man, from Algeria. What's the point here? We're talking about astrology. Look up. You see the sun, right? We're just talking about astrology. All right from Algeria. That's tough. I'm from the U.S. All right. So let me see. Yeah, for you guys that say, what's the point of this? Just look up your stars. You will see the sun. We're just doing pattern recognition when it comes to this. And for you guys that don't believe in astrology, just look up or go plant something during the wrong time of the year and see if it grows accordingly. You know what I'm saying? So we're just doing macro pattern recognition. It's important that this is not like some like spiritual stuff. I'm just trying to make all this logical so everyone can understand. You get what I'm saying? All right. So you said, what's the point? The point is to recalibrate your mind so that you can structure your thoughts accordingly. For example, I got Mercury in 11th house and I got it in Capricorn. So I know to only talk and think about networks, my goals, not dreams. But when I put a deadline on that goal, I know to only talk about my associations. I know to only talk about things that I want to be associated with, masterminding, group thinking. This is why my handle is Kyron Network. You get what I'm saying? Focusing on networks, networking, social networking. So I know when I'm not thinking in that area of life, I'm off track. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to help you guys get on track. But comment your zodiac far as what you got Mercury in, and I'll break down. And you guys want to do that. You guys want to do that while you can, because I'm gonna start charging for it. You get what I'm saying? All right. So Mercury and Aries in the eighth house. The eighth house rules your desires or hidden desires. It also rules, and let me show you guys this, just to let you know I'm not regurgitating. Look, it's my screen and what I wrote. You get what I'm saying? I'm not regurgitating. I got just over 100 placements to go over, so I'm just trying to stay organized because my brain be everywhere sometimes, and I don't want to seem like the rest of these astrologers where they don't seem logical. You get what I'm saying? We got the penthouse views. You get what I'm saying? And we talking very proper. You get what I'm saying? We're in another continent with it. But yeah, we're not gonna go off on the deep end with this. We're gonna keep it very logical. You get what I'm saying? So that everybody can understand. Alright, so the eighth area of house, your hidden desires, other people values. Not your values, not what you appreciate. It's not like the second house where you can only focus on what you appreciate. You need to be focused on hidden desires, hidden, let's say your passions and what you have inside of you. You need to be focusing on that. This is where your mind need to be at. If your mind is not there and you focus on other people value, in this area, if you only focusing on your values, you're off track, right? If you got Mercury and Aries in the eighth house, you only need to be focusing on other people resources, other people values, what other people appreciate, your hidden desires, other people hidden desires. This way your mind need to be at. If your mind not there, you off track. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, once you do that, you'll know how to pretty much accumulate resources, work with other people, and you won't pretty much be seen as somebody that's a liability. You'll seem like an asset in this area of life. That's the main point. You need to be on point. You need to be focused on that area of life, and you need to focus on initiating that area of life. If you're not focused on initiating that area of life, you're off track. Go ahead and double tap that screen, and I want you to comment your what sign you got Mercury in, so we can break it down. It's no cost, but eventually I'm gonna start charging for this, and I'm clipping all of these videos into 30-second to 3-minute videos, so I can do hundreds and hundreds of shorts on every social media platform. That's the only reason why I'm doing it live, because it's vertical and I don't have to edit nothing but crop it out. You get what I'm saying? But comment, you don't have to be guessing. You get what I'm saying? And if you don't know, I want you to go ahead and taken care of. We do hour-long consultations, right? And after that, you don't have to book anymore unless you want something very detailed. However, it's lifelong. So go ahead and book a consultation. All right. So Mercury and Aries in the ninth house, right? Mercury and Aries in the ninth house. The ninth house rules foreign travel. It also rules higher education, like stuff you can't learn in school. You can't regurgitate. It's not in books. You have to close that book. Let's say if you was reading about the rainforest, or you was reading about traveling, like a plane or whatever. Let's say if you was learning how to fly a plane. Obviously, you got to go to flight school. The ninth house area, it goes like this. You close that book, and then you need to actually get on a fucking flight and start flying. What you learn on that travel, this is what puts you in that ninth house energy. You get what I'm saying? So it's not what you learn in a book, it's what you learn when you travel the journey and when you get to that destination, right? So it's about not regurgitating, because the third house deals with regurgitating information. It might deal with repeating information you learn in books, but 9 times out of 10, the ninth house don't deal with regurgitating or reading books. You have to get out here and go through that process. Let's say if you was reading about a rainforest, the minute you close that book and go in that rainforest and come up with your own navigational system, you're in that same energy when it comes to Mercury and Aries in the ninth house, where you're going to come up with that fourth dimensional or third dimensional GPS system, so that other people can go get from point A to point B. You get what I'm saying? Similar to how Moses in the Bible, Moses may resemble Aries from my perspective. You get what I'm saying? So he was the one who said, "Let my people go," and then he gave other people that spark, right, Aries, to, oh damn, I could be free. So it's about that mental spark. You get what I'm saying? So you need to do that by if you got this in this area, you need to be traveling mentally, physically, or spiritually. If you're not traveling physically, right, like how I am in another continent than where I was born in Ethiopia, you get what I'm saying? Um, if you're not traveling, you need to be traveling mentally and spiritually. So when you go back to that your hometown, the Gemini type energy, third house, um, you can use that stuff you learned overseas. You get what I'm saying? For example, I'm in Ethiopia, so if my North Node is in Sagittarius, for example, in the ninth house. So with that being said, I know when I'm home, I'm pulled like a magnet towards traveling overseas. But how do I be in my North Node energy while I'm still at home? I will be expanding mentally and spiritually, and then I will be learning the stuff. I will be applying stuff that I learned to on my travels back in my hometown. You get what I'm saying? So all right, Mercury and Earth in the ninth house. So you need to be initiating these things, right? You need to be the one in the group chat talking about, oh yeah, let's go here. Or you need to be the one that just going there, so other people can get that idea, that spark. You get what I'm saying? Um, yeah. So that's what that is. So Mercury and Eris in the 10th house. So 10th house rules your career focus, how others see you in public, legacy building. I'm talking 10 plus years. So with that being said, if you got Mercury and Aries, this will be like, and this also rules your career. So this will be like, for example, let's say if you was an inventor, right? Which I also work with a few inventors myself, and I'm also an inventor myself. Um, you will be focusing on creating something new, being a leader or something, being a CEO or the captain of something. Like, let's say if you was a sports player, you would be the leader of the team. Let's say if you was a part of a company, you would be the CEO or boss of this company. You get what I'm saying? So that you can have the freedom, the mental freedom to make your own decisions, call the shots, and initiate things from your own perspective. You get what I'm saying? So this is Mercury and Aries in the 10th house. You need to be focused only on your career if you have Mercury and Aries in the 10th house. You need to be focused only on long-term legacies if you have Mercury and Aries in the 10th house. You need to be focused only on inventing or creating new stuff, right? You shouldn't be fixated in stuff like the sun. You see that sun in the sky? You shouldn't be predictable like that. Every day, the same time. You know, you shouldn't be like Sagittarius, the third fire sign, because you'll sink everywhere. You need to be initiating new things, new ideas, and if you're not doing that, you're not doing you're not doing it right. You're not thinking right. You're not calibrated. You get what I'm saying? All right. So Mercury and Earth, 11th house. The 11th house is based. All right. So the 11th house is pretty much masterminding, group thinking, communication, turning dreams into goals by giving them dreams a deadline. Dreams is for Pisces type people, right? You need to. How do you turn a dream into a goal? You simply give it a deadline. You got to give your dreams a deadline. You have to put a date on it. I wanted to be in Ethiopia at a specific time. Once I put a deadline on it, this is when it started to come in reality. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of, and you can predict it, kind of like how you predict when it's going to rain. You get what I'm saying? But pretty much you need to be able to turn your dreams into reality by giving it a deadline, and then from there it deals with your network, social network. So you need to be using social media. You need to be using your associations, um, and then you need to be an individual inside these groups and associations and networks. And then this is the area of life where you're unique, and you need to focus on technology, and and you need to focus on initiating new thoughts that formulate and help the collective conscious, but from a logical standpoint. So don't be like Pisces where it's collective conscious, but from an emotional standpoint. Be logical with it. You get what I'm saying? So you need to be a leader in your groups and the networks. You need to be a leader in your associations. You need to be focused on how you could pretty much how you could be focused on when you're on social media, you need to be seen as an individual. You need to be unique inside these groups. If you're not thinking like that, then you're off. You're a little off if you're not thinking like that. So if you have Mercury and Aries in the 11th house, you obviously gonna be thinking about groups all the time. You obviously gonna be thinking about networks and who you're associated with and all this stuff. But make sure that you're a leader inside this. Make sure that you're unique inside this. Make sure you have your own mind inside these groups. So that's how you pretty much recalibrate if you have Mercury and Aries in the 11th house. So Mercury and Aries in the 12th house. The 12th house rules dreams, illusions, spirituality, meditation, sacrifice, good trauma, bad trauma. It also rules, well, not rules, but it also deals with your collective conscious, but emotionally. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, um, you want to pretty much still be an individual in this area of life, but you want to make sure that you're not coming off too harsh, like because Pisces also deals with other people as well. You need to see the both sides of situations, but you need to be that individual seeing the both sides of situations, and you need to be unbiased. You get what I'm saying? So, if you have Mercury and Aries in a 12th house, your your focus and your mind should be on things like healing yourself and others. It should be about sacrifice. Like, oh, I want to do this in life. I have these dreams. What do I have to sacrifice to get there? You should be thinking about that. Like, oh, I gotta sacrifice this time, or I gotta invest this. You get what I'm saying? That's how your mind should be thinking. Everything you think should be like I. It should start with I first, right? That's the main thing. So let me give you an example. If you're talking about your dreams, you need to be like, I need to do this to accomplish my dreams, because you got Aries there. You get what I'm saying? Um, if you're dealing with illusions, you need to pretty much be able to transmute your illusions so that you don't be lost and just like so that you don't seem too aloof. You need to be on the ground. You get what I'm saying? So you need to be like, I need to do this so I can get out of this illusion and pretty much create different ideas and sparks for other people. You get what I'm saying? Now if you're dealing with let's say far as spirituality, you will be like a spiritual leader in this area of life. You get what I'm saying? But make sure you're doing that legally, because that's like a gray area. But you want to pretty much be able to when it comes to um lead people in the right way when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to good and bad trauma, when it comes to illusions they're in. You need to know when that tipping point is, like when is it too much and when to let it go, and when to move on to something new in this area of life, because it can get real sticky and it could put your fire out, because Aries is just a spark and Pisces is full of water. So imagine that's like a candle blowing next to the ocean. That candle could easily get blown out depending on how high the tide is going. So that's just an analogy. You want to make sure that you're dreamy in this area, but you're still thinking about like, all right, I need to do this. It's not just in your head. You need to focus on stuff that you need to do. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to your dreams, illusions, spirituality, meditation, sacrifice, good trauma, bad trauma, and connecting to others emotionally, right? That's why I said collective consciousness, but from an emotional standpoint. So that's the Sun and Aries through the 12 houses. Don't forget to double tap that screen and also comment what sign you got Mercury in, so I can um yeah, so I can pretty much break it down. But don't leave. We got 12 houses, and I'm breaking down every alignment. So this is only one. You know what I'm saying? All right. So the Sun in Taurus. I mean, no, sorry. All right, so Mercury and Taurus do the 12 areas of life, or the 12 houses in astrology, right? So the first house rules individuality, your personality, and how people perceive you personally. For example, look at me right now. How do you perceive me? You get what I'm saying? I got the penthouse. I got the Pradas. I'm talking about this. I'm using technology. You get what I'm saying? I'm on live. Obviously, I'm an Aquarius ascendant. You get what I'm saying? So that's just an example. It's how people perceive you. You get what I'm saying? It's how people perceive you. So if you got the first house is how people perceive you, and if Taurus is based on values, your appreciation, and money, right? People gonna perceive you as an individual that's focused on your values, your appreciation, and money. You get what I'm saying? But what you need to be thinking about this in this area, you need to be thinking about ways that you can appreciate as an individual, self development, self help type of stuff, where you're focusing on things that will develop you as an individual. You get what I'm saying? So if you got the Sun in Taurus in the first house, you need to be focused on only things that appreciate when it comes to how you come across your parents, you as an individual. You get what I'm saying? And this will help you in other areas in life as well. Don't forget to double tap that screen. And then also after you double tap the screen, comment your what sign you got Mercury in, so that I can break it down. You get a free astrology reading. Just comment what you got Mercury in, and if you don't know that, book a consultation, and I'll pretty much make sure you recalibrate it. All right. So if you got Mercury and Taurus in the second house, which Taurus rules the second house, this is a good alignment. The second house is about your values, your appreciation, and because things appreciate over time, this is what we're calling growth, and this is what we're calling money as well. So with that being said, let's say if you invest $100 into Nvidia or Apple, and you see that grow to $150, in the stock market, they even call that appreciation. You get what I'm saying? So anytime you seeing something go from point A to point Z or point B, you know what I'm saying? This is called appreciation. That's like putting a seed in the ground, and then you see it germinate, and now you see that what was once a seed, you see it start flowering. This is called appreciation for a reason. That flower appreciated. And this is why money have to do with the second house. So if you got Mercury in the second house, you need to be only focused on money. You need to be only focused on things that you appreciate and value. You need to be only making decisions based on what's going to appreciate. If you're not making if you're not making decisions based on what's going to appreciate, you, things are going to start deappreciating. You get what I'm saying? So make sure you focus on things that appreciate, and you'll pretty much be good to go. All right. So Mercury and Taurus in the third house. The third house rules communication, community, commuting, commerce. It also deals with your conscious mind and siblings. You get what I'm saying? So when that being said, how do you need to be thinking in this area of life? In this area of life, you need to be focused on you need to be a part of a community that actually values who you are, right? And you both of y'all need to have that in common. Like both of y'all need to pretty much appreciate each other. You need to be able to see the both sides of this community, but also over time, this community you need to see it appreciate over time. This is like if you was an owner of a building and you hired HOA and you left for a year, and the management company from that building, they fixed the building up. They made sure it has more equity into it. It makes sure the grass is cut, the tenants is happy. So when you come back in that building, you'll see like, damn, this really appreciated over time. You get what I'm saying? Another thing is that commuting. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to commuting or local travel, you need to make sure that you're not wasting money. And you need to make sure you're not wasting money. And when you do travel, it's about things that appreciate. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to communication, have valuable conversations. Talk about money, marketplaces. Let's say if you was talking about the stock market or things that appreciate over time. This is where you need to be at if you have Mercury and Taurus in the third house. Don't be that person that just gossip about anything, because what happens is anything don't appreciate. So that's Mercury and that's Mercury and Taurus in the third house. You know what I'm saying? So if you got Mercury and Taurus in the fourth house, the fourth house rules your private life, roots, your family, your culture, and how you nurture things. All right. So make sure when you're with your family, you appreciate them for who they are. You need to be thinking about ways that you can take your family to another level, find it mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, all that type of stuff. Make sure that that's on point, because if it's not on point, you're going to see things decline when it comes to your roots, your family, your culture. You get what I'm saying? Focus on things that appreciate in this area of life. And as far as your roots, think about, like, let's say if you was far as your roots. I'm in Ethiopia right now. This is a very rooted place where people appreciate um their culture. You get what I'm saying? That's another thing. Appreciate your culture. Even if you come from a bad background, you need to find the good things about that and turn that to an ability. You don't need to be stuck on that bad stuff. Only focus on stuff that appreciate in this area of life when it comes to your family, your private life. Also, when you run out of ideas and you need to think about things like that, like money making ideas or anything, try to spend time alone or around your family. You get what I'm saying? Because this will help you get the ideas flowing in this area of life. Go ahead and double tap that screen. All right. So the fifth area of life deals with creativity, leisure activity, casual dating, how you shine, and it also deals with your kids as well. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know, you need to be focused on ways that you can add value while being creative as well. You don't want to just be like a creative person that's online or just doing whatever. Make sure whatever you create has value. You get what I'm saying? So let's say if you was into art and you into like painting pictures and like, limited edition pictures, or if you was just like a collector or something, you need to be focused on creative things that actually appreciates and value over time. You need to be focused on like doing casual things, but making sure that this appreciates, right? Only focus on things that you appreciate and but still have fun at the same time. But make sure these things when you while you're having fun, you're either making money or pretty much you're increasing your value or your worth. You get what I'm saying? Doing these things you should feel some form of self appreciation when you do these things as well. Also, when it comes to kids, make sure that you show your kids appreciation, and make sure you're focusing on how your kids can grow over extended period of time, and how this going to pay off. Like, for example, your kid getting older, going through school, and then taking care of you. You get what I'm saying? That's an example of you had a seed, right? You planted it, and now it grows. That's appreciation, right? So everything that you're doing needs to appreciate in this area of life. You get what I'm saying? Let's say, for example, if you was going to a concert, don't just go to a concert. You need to find ways to actually either do something you appreciate at that concert, or you need to be the one that's selling the tickets so that you could be making money from this concert. You get what I'm saying? So that's how that works. But that's what you need to be focusing on mentally so that you can make the best decisions possible. Appreciation when it comes to appreciating and adding value in areas when it comes to your creativity, leisure activity, and how you shine. Also, how you shine, you need to be seen as a valuable person. You get what I'm saying? But somebody who has a lot of values, and just you being around add values to others, even when they're having fun. All right, bro. These answers is too long, so I gotta make them shorter. You get what I'm saying? Because these got to be clips, 30 seconds to 3 minutes. I can't be long winded. All right. So Sun and Taurus in the sixth house, the sixth area of life. So it's dealing with daily habits such as your eating habits, your diet, uh, your workout habits, your routine and schedule. You also need to be thinking about ways that you can be organized. And it might come across as a little cynical, but when it comes to your eating habits, you need to be thinking about ways that your eating habits could actually um, like appreciate over time. It can add value to your life. So, for example, I'm a pescatarian. Sometimes I'm a vegetarian. But before I put food in my mouth, I make sure that it has the right oil in it, olive oil. It has not a lot of salt. So you need to be thinking about all this stuff so that so that whatever you put in your body, it adds values to your life. You get what I'm saying? Far as working out, you get what I'm saying? You need to be doing workouts that appreciates over time. Meaning, don't be doing like workouts that don't matter, that you're just wasting time. Do workouts that will actually help you in the long run, and you can actually see like, okay, this appreciated over time. I'm gonna keep doing this and compounding from there. Um, yeah, and then from there, you need to also be focusing on like having a schedule. So, your schedule need to be focused. Your schedule need to be you need to have a schedule to where as though you're not wasting time and money. Whatever your schedule is based on what you appreciate, or is based on making ends meet, like far as making money. You get what I'm saying? So that's the way you need to be thinking. You need to be thinking like, damn. Like if somebody call your phone, you need to be like, all right, is it about money? Are you adding value to my life? I can't add you in my schedule then. You get what I'm saying? That's how it needs to be in this area of life. That's how you need to be thinking. If you're not thinking like that, then you off track. You get what I'm saying? All right. Mercury and Taurus in the seventh house. Now the seventh house is also a Libra house, and both of them is ruled by Venus. So this is a good house to have when it because both of them is ruled by the same sign, so it complements each other. So the seventh house deals with relatability or relating to others, one-on-one relationships, fairness, justice, law, and also language. So with that being said, if you have Mercury and Taurus in the seventh house, what you want to do is you want to focus on relationships that appreciate over time. You want to focus on like don't be just associated with anybody. The relationships that you have to pretty much appreciate over time, and even have to have make you money, have to add values to your life. You get what I'm saying? Or it actually have to you actually have to appreciate these people as unique individuals that can add value or teach you something in life. You get what I'm saying? Far as justice and law, you get what I'm saying? This would be a good placement to utilize the justice system and the law system, because you can pretty much make money from the justice system and the law system if you know how to pretty much if you know how legislation work. You could be into like intellectual property, and pretty much this could value your intellectual property could be worth something, and then you know you could just license your intellectual property and sit back, and that could be your relationship. The relationship between you and that person is the intellectual property you own, and they have to pay you a licensing fee. And with that being said, that relationship is value. It's worth something. It's bringing in money. You get what I'm saying? So that's Mercury. That's Mercury and Taurus in the seventh house. Make sure all of your relationships either bring in money or worth something or valuable in your life. You get what I'm saying? That's what you need to make sure. Don't be just dealing with people just to deal with people. That's the main thing. So Mercury and Taurus in the eighth house. Now this is kind of a challenge, but once you learn how to like think in this way, what you'll notice is that you can see both sides of something. You just have to remain unbiased. So Mercury and Taurus in the eighth house deals with, instead of your own values, right? What Taurus is used to focus on. You need to be focused on other people's values, other people's desires, other people resources, other people appreciations. You get what I'm saying? So before you pretty much link with these other people, make sure y'all at least have shared values so that now you can pretty much learn how to extract resources or share resources with others. That's how you need to be thinking in this area of life. So Mercury and Taurus in the ninth house. So this deals with traveling mentally, physically, and spiritually, right? And I'm talking about international travel if you're physically traveling. So with that being said, make sure your travels is make sure you're not traveling just to travel. Your travel have to be gold at the end of that rainbow. It gotta be worth something. Don't just travel. Like for example, when I came to Ethiopia, I'm not just traveling here just to travel. I'm traveling because something meets my values, and I'm also looking for value as well. You get what I'm saying? Um, so with that being said, if you got Mercury and Taurus in a ninth house, what you want to do is you want to focus on travels that make you money or that increase your values over time. And once you focus on this mentally, you'll have clarity on where you need to travel, when you need to travel, how you need to travel, what resources that you appreciate that you need to bring with you along your travels. You get what I'm saying? Um. All right. So Mercury and Taurus in the 10th house. So, with that being said, the 10th house rules your career focus, how others see you in public, legacy, long term planning. I'm talking like 10 plus years, right? So, if you got Mercury and Taurus in the 10th house, you need to be focused on seeds that you can plant because Taurus is the I plant house, right? Because we're dealing with things that appreciate. And plants are a good example of what can appreciate over time once you plant seeds. So you need to be focused on seeds that you can plant or things that you can appreciate over time. You get what I'm saying? That actually helps you in your career. Or you need to be focusing on assets that appreciate over time. And then you can sell them off. You get what I'm saying? So it's like a hedge fund, you get what I'm saying, or private equity where, you plant the seed or early your life when you can focus on career because you can see things that appreciate better than others, you know? And yeah, just make sure you individual in them associations. And also it also deals with technology and collective consciousness, but the logical side of collective consciousness. What you want to do is you want to only be a part of networks that actually is valuable. You don't want to just be a part of groups and networks and things that is invaluable. You want to make sure that when you think about this group, like when somebody talking to you and they saying they have this problem or they need this, it needs to be somebody in your network or associations that you think about immediately. Like, oh, I know this, I know how to solve this. I know this person, or I know I'm a part of this network. You know what I'm saying? So make sure your network is actually worth something and is valuable and it appreciates over time. You get what I'm saying? But most importantly, make sure you and that network have the same values. If you guys don't have the same values, it's going to be hard. It's going to pretty much be hard for you guys to work together. You get what I'm saying? Because you're going to pretty much seem rebellious because you're going to have your own ideas you're trying to plant into this association group, and it's not going to fit well at all. You know what I'm saying? So make sure before you join a network, before you join a association, before you even get on social media, make sure you have a target audience if you're on social media. And if you have a network, make sure that network is your type of people that have the same values. Ask yourself, this group, association, or mastermind I'm in, do they have the same values as me? Because if they don't have the same values as me, I don't belong here. And you're going to seem rebellious if you don't belong because 11th house rules being your own individual inside of groups. And if you're trying to plant, because the second house of Taurus deals with plants and seeds, if you're trying to plant ideas inside this group that you don't have shared values in, it's going to come across the wrong way. You get what I'm saying? All right. So if you got Mercury and Taurus in the 12th house, the 12th house rules your dreams, illusions, sacrifice, like what you need to sacrifice to get to point A to point B. For example, let's say if you wanted to make Let's say if you if it was a what let's say if you traded stocks, how you would sacrifice in that industry, you gotta invest in the stock. So you gotta sacrifice money, and then once that stock appreciate over time, which is still the second house energy, this is how you would this is how you should be thinking in this area of life. You get what I'm saying? Also, when it comes to your illusions need to even be valuable. You need to be if you have an illusion in your head, it need to pretty much be able to at least add to your values, or it needs to pretty much be able to get you to that end goal so that you could be more valuable, or so that you could make ends meet, make money. You get what I'm saying? Some people need that illusion. I remember hearing Mike Tyson saying he was the world's best fighter, the world's best fighter. You get what I'm saying? Obviously, we know another fighter that could probably beat him, but he had an illusion in his head that he was the best fighter, so he planted that seed in his head. So this is what you need to do. You need to be able to plant, because the second house of Taurus is dealing with planting. You get what I'm saying? So you need to be able to plant seeds in this area of life when it comes to your dreams, illusions, what you sacrifice. In this case, if you're a Taurus, it would either be your values or money. You get what I'm saying? Um, and then from there, that needs to be able to appreciate over time. You get what I'm saying? Also, is deal with good trauma and bad trauma. So in this area of life, you need to be able to plant seeds. Let's say if you're dealing with rehabilitation, people come to you from all around the world. You need to be able to plant seeds that still appreciate over time, even though they're dealing with trauma. But with that being said, you need to be that seed can change their values, and they can deviate from that addiction or from that trauma. So you need to get them something that's stronger than that trauma by planting that seed. You get what I'm saying? So that sun and Taurus through the 12 houses, the 12 areas of life. Go ahead and double tap that screen. We got Gemini through Pisces left. So you might want to stay put, watch all of these. If you're learning about astrology, if you're an astrologer, if you want to pretty much learn how life works from a macro standpoint and doing pattern recognition, macro pattern recognition, this is the place to be. All right. So we're going through the Sun and Gemini. I'm sorry. We're going through Mercury and Gemini. Mercury and Gemini. Through the 12 houses now. All right. So Mercury and Gemini. So if you got Mercury and Gemini in the first house rules individuality, your personality, and how you're seen. Like I said, look at me. How do I look? I'm in a penthouse. I got the products. I got technology. My ascendant is obviously an Aquarius. You get what I'm saying? So if you got Gemini, a Sun in Gemini in the first house, if you got Mercury and Gemini in the first house, you're going to be seen um as someone who has let's how can I give you, I don't want to sound bad, but when I say two-faced, now let's not say two-faced. You're going to be seen as someone who can see the both sides of something. You might be seen as like a community activist. You might be seen as someone who knows their community. You might know how to communicate. You might be seen as someone that know how to communicate better than the average person. You might be seen as someone who you might be seen as someone who know their way around the marketplace. But let's forget about how you're seen. We're talking about thinking. You need to be thinking about ways you can pretty much you need to be able to think from both sides of a marketplace, because we're talking about thinking right now, right? So if you got Gemini, um, Mercury and Gemini in the first house, you need to always be able to step outside of a situation and see both sides of something. You get what I'm saying? And you've been seeing both sides of something. A lot of people can't do that. You get what I'm saying? So if you can see the both sides of something, you just need to remain unbiased, and then you'll be able to make a decision. You get what I'm saying? So that's Mercury and Gemini in the first house. You need to be pretty much have your own head, and you need to be able to step outside of that and see both sides of situations as an individual. This is how you need to be thinking. You need to be thinking about your own individuality and how you relate to both of these sides, right? You need to be thinking about your own personality and be you need to pretty much be, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say in regards to that, because I gotta keep these 30 seconds to 1 minute. All right. So Mercury and Gemini in the second area of life, or the second house, that's dealing with pretty much your values, what you appreciate, and money, right? So if you got Mercury and Gemini in the second house, if Gemini have oversight over marketplaces, right? Think about that. That's like, this is like the alignments of like a day trader or someone that's in a marketplace. You will have foresight because you can see both sides. You can see when people buying, you can see when people selling, you can see when the market is consolidating. You get what I'm saying? You need to be thinking like that. Like, okay, I'm in this marketplace. I see both sides of something, and then you'll be able to see the best decision. You get what I'm saying? Also, when it comes to you traveling locally, you pretty much need to know. You pretty much need to know where where things at locally or domestically. You get what I'm saying? Especially the valuable things. You need to pretty much be like let's say if you was in an industry, you need to pretty much, in a specific industry, you need to know where to get this a certain resources at, no matter where it's at domestically. You get what I'm saying? So that you could pretty much put that in the marketplace. You get what I'm saying? Because Gemini rules commuting, it rules marketplaces as far as commerce, it rules communication. So also when you communicating with someone, right? And somebody try to, talk to you, make sure it's valuable, make sure you appreciate it, but make sure you can step outside of that and see both sides of what they're saying and what they're not saying. You get what I'm saying? All right. So if you got Gemini, Mercury and Gemini in the fourth house, your fourth house rules your private life, your family. It rules privacy, like you're at home, how your family see you at home, your culture, and your roots. You get what I'm saying? Um, when you're dealing with this placement, you need to be able to see both sides of, let's like you need to see both sides of your family. So, for example, like anything in regards to your family, you need to be able to see both sides of the situation. Let's say if you was a kid and you was younger, and your mother and dad fought. You need to be able, when you grow up or whatever, you need to be able to see both sides of the story unbiasedly. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to your roots, you need to know, you need to know both sides of that. You need to know how to communicate. Like, let's say, like your family language. I'm in Ethiopia right now. It's a disgrace if you don't know, if they don't know, if someone that's Ethiopian that don't know Amharic. So this is another example of them alignments. Being like knowing your culture and being able to communicate, because Gemini rules communication also. Being able to communicate efficiently. You get what I'm saying? Um, Also, when it comes to yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I gotta keep these 30 seconds to 3 minutes, because I'm trying to make hundreds of videos, and the way YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram Reels, it can only be 30 seconds to 3 minutes. So that's why I gotta keep going. But I can go through this. I can go through this all day. Make sure so you're choosing to be delusional than normal. No, no, I'm a normal person, bro. I'm not a delusional person. And I can actually explain how all this is common sense. Like I said, look up, you'll see the sun. At nighttime, you'll see the stars. It's obviously astrology. So even if these names changed, there's a specific energy. There's a specific energy that play out. You get what I'm saying? Let's say if the sun wasn't named the sun in 100 years, and people are like, the way people understand it, it has a specific pattern. This shiny thing comes around the same time every day, and it's fixated. You get what I'm saying? So if you don't believe in astrology, get rid of the names, and then you'll understand that they're utilizing these names to identify patterns. And if you don't want to do that, plant plant a seed during the wrong time of year, and you'll understand that, oh, okay, even farmers can use astrology. This has to be real. You get what I'm saying? But yeah. Hello. Let me see. All right. So with that being said, um, all right. Mercury and Gemini in the fifth house. So when it comes to creativity, leisure, activity, how you shine, casual activity, um, and also your kids as well. All right. So with this placement, when it comes to how you shine, you need to be shining in the areas of communication. You need to be shining in the areas of domestic travel. You need to be shining in areas of your conscious mind. Like people need to be looking at you like, damn, this guy is really smart. He knows all the conscious things you need to know to get from point A to Z. You get what I'm saying? Um, when it comes to traveling domestically, you need to shine in this area too. Like people need to come to you for direction. You get what I'm saying? This is important. Um, and then with that being said, when it comes to your creative things like creativity, you can really excel in a bunch of like creative things you have to use your mind for, like crossword puzzles, um, like things like solving stuff. You know what I'm saying? Solving little stuff that people will get frustrated on. This is how you can express your mind in this area. But long story short, this way you need to be focusing on creative things, or leisure activity or casual things. Your mind need to be in this area of life if you have Gemini, the Mercury and Gemini. You get what I'm saying? That's the main thing. Your mind need to be on things that's casual, going out, like concerts, like creative things, leisure activity. Your leisure activity need to be able to stimulate your mind. If it don't stimulate your mind, you're going to get bored, or you're not going to see both sides of the situation, which you need to. You get what I'm saying? All right. So if you got Mercury and let me see, if you got Mercury and Gemini in the sixth house. The sixth area of life dealing with your habits, your daily habits, your eating habits, your workout habits. Like far as like working out, your diet, health, being organized, and cynical area, and it's cynical, the cynical energy. So this area of life, you need to be focused on mental health. It's important to focus on mental health in this area of life because if once that in order, everything else in order. Because Mercury also rules this area of life as well, and we're talking about Gemini. So with that being said, as long as you're able to plan, like using your mind, your gym schedule, your eating habits, and pretty much organize everything, this is how you should be planning out everything. It should be very cynical. You should be able to use your mind before you use your body. All right. So let's say if you got Mercury and Gemini in the seventh house. So this seventh house deals with relating to others on a one-on-one basis, relationships, fairness, justice, law, and language. So with that being said, this could be like a person that knows multiple languages, or you could be studying languages. This could be people that's into like I don't want to say multiple relationships, but you can go through multiple relationships, or you can literally have the idea that that's good for you. But really, what you need to do is, well, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do because that's not what this channel is about. Um, so another thing is, when it comes to justice or law, you need to be able to see the both sides of something. So if you're ever dealing with law or justice, for you not to go through any injustices or be a victim of these things. You need to see both sides of a situation. If you don't see both sides of the situation, you're going to feel off. You get what I'm saying? So make sure. And then when it comes to relationships, make sure your partner stimulates your mind and not just your body. Make sure your partner is really like in tune with your mind and your conscious mind. Make sure your partner is make sure your partner is like familiar with your community, or how your upbringing. Make sure your partner is speak the same language as you. Make sure your partner make sure your partner pretty much think similar to you, because once y'all have the same mentality, it'll be easier to work together, because both, this is how the energy will work with Mercury and Gemini, and the Mercury and Gemini in the seventh house. So Mercury and Gemini in the eighth house. This is your hidden desires, um, other people values, other people appreciations, shared resources, and hidden resources. You need to be able to think and see from both sides of a situation so that you can see what's there, obviously, but do options of elimination so you can see what's hidden. You get what I'm saying? In your case, you can even words as resources. You get what I'm saying? Let's say if you was in an intellectual property, you should be able to see these hidden resources that other people can't see in your community. You should be able to see them in marketplaces. You should be able to see that when it comes to communication. Like, you should be able to see all this stuff. You get what I'm saying? Um, and when you're traveling domestically in your local environment, you know what I'm saying? You need to be able to see, you have an eye for these resources and see both sides of it. This is the area of life you need to be focusing on if you have Mercury if you have Mercury and Gemini, and you need to pretty much be able to see the unseen as well. All right, so Mercury and Gemini, the ninth house. The ninth house deals with foreign travel, higher education. Um, it also, and what I mean by higher education is stuff you cannot learn in school. So the stuff you can't learn in school is important to pretty much is important to pretty much like, yeah, I know Gemini deals with formal education in your conscious mind, but in order to expand, you need to pretty much you need to pretty much exercise what you learned in school in your conscious mind and put it to work. This is how you filter that knowledge to wisdom. You need to be able to filter knowledge to wisdom by actually closing that book, like closing all of the information and stuff you learned, closing the 100 tabs you got open, and applying what you learned. You get what I'm saying? This is how it works in this house. And it's going to be a learning curve because with Gemini in this house, it's opposite of its original house. But once you learn, you should be better than other people when it comes to this area of life. You get what I'm saying? All right, so Gemini and Mercury and Gemini in the 10th house. So uh, in this in this area of life, your mind should be focused on your career, how you're seen publicly, your legacy, and long term goals. I'm talking 10 plus years. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, how you're seen publicly, you should be either be in like a niche that deals with communication, or a career that's dealing with communication. Community deals with your logical, conscious mind. Deals with commuting, like the local travel, like truck drivers, stuff like that. I just get an example just for you guys, and then or dealing with like you could even go into business with your siblings because this deals with Mercury and Gemini. You get what I'm saying? The 10th house, and Gemini rules. Gemini deals with your siblings as well. You get what I'm saying? So in this area of life, you need to pick a field that you can master, that you can focus on communication, community, commuting, or commerce. Commerce like day trading, international trade, being in marketplaces where you can arbitrate certain stuff from point A to point Z. You get what I'm saying? All right, so Mercury and Gemini in the 11th area of life. The 11th area of life deals with masterminding, group communication, turning dreams into goals by giving them a deadline. Your network, social network, and social media, your associations, being an individual inside these groups. Um, and then it's the area of life where you need to focus on utilizing technology and the collective consciousness from a logical standpoint. So since Gemini is the first air sign, is mutable, and 11th house is fixated, you pretty much need to be fixated on being mutable, right? So that's how you pretty much get off on this in this area. So with that being said, when it comes to mastermind group that you're in, you want to be that conscious mind that's in this group. If the whole group isn't thinking about the thoughts you putting out there and they're not seeing it from both sides, you're in the wrong group. You want to focus on networks that you can actually exalt your mind in, and you can see the things that's on your mind inside that group. You get what I'm saying? That's how you need to be thinking. So Mercury and Gemini and the 12th area of life. This deals with dreams, illusions, good trauma, bad trauma. It also deals with collective consciousness from an emotional standpoint. So with that being said, you need to be able to communicate with others when it comes to that trauma, right? To where as though you're unbiased, but you're still able to see where they're coming from and like direct them, like based on the way you communicate or where your conscious mind works. Also, when it comes to illusions, you need to be able to step outside of that illusion and see both sides of it and be non-biased so that you know where the ledge is so that you don't be too illusional. You get what I'm saying? You don't want to be too illusional because what happens is that you won't even be in reality at that point. And Gemini is on the side of the chart where it's dealing with more things in reality anyway. You get what I'm saying? And not the subconscious mind. It's dealing with the conscious mind. So with that being said, you want to bring all that the information from your subconscious mind, you want to move that to the front of your mind, like your conscious mind. So all that information, all your habits that you have that's controls your life subconsciously, you want to push them to the front of your mind, to your conscious mind. This is how you should be thinking if you got Mercury and Gemini in that placement as well. You get what I'm saying? Um, Let me see. All right, so that's Mercury and Gemini through the 12 houses. Now we're going to do Cancer and Gemini through the 12 houses. So Cancer deals with your private life, roots, your family, your home life, and how you nurture. Right. So if you got that in the first house, which is Mercury and Cancer in the first house, you should be focused on your individuality, your personality, and how you're seen. You get what I'm saying? So instead of what you're focusing on, we're talking about Mercury, so how you should be thinking. So in this area of life, your personality and how you think, how people perceive you, they should see you as somebody that's familiar, right? When you talking to someone, make sure that you always trying to get familiar with them. Say like, let's say like somebody say, "Oh, I did this," and you should be like, "Oh, me too." Like, make sure things are familiar because you got Mercury in this house. You want to relate to people on a one-on-one basis. You get what I'm saying? Also, you might think about how you relate to your family on a one-on-one basis. You might resemble your roots or your culture, but you should be utilizing these things so that you could pretty much further your bloodline. All right. So Mercury and Cancer in the second house. The second house dealing with your values, your appreciation, money. You get what I'm saying? And so if you got Mercury and Cancer in the second house, you pretty much want to nurture. You want to have thoughts that nurture things that you value, nurture things that you appreciate. And then when you do that, what happens is the money is a byproduct of them two things. You get what I'm saying? Also, you should be thinking about stuff that's in your private life or your upbringing or what your family is known for. And you should be thinking about how could you use that to make money. So for example, let's say if your family had 500 acres, right? You should be able to think and you should be thinking about how that is valuable, and you should be thinking about how you could use that. So it should always relate back to what you could use that's familiar, and from there, how could that appreciate over time if you got Mercury and Cancer in the second house. So Mercury and Cancer in the third area of life, or the third house. The third house, deals with communication, community, commuting, commerce, such as marketplaces. Your conscious mind, like what you learn in school and regurgitating information. It also deals with siblings as well. You get what I'm saying? So in this area of life, you should be taking what's familiar, right? You should be focusing on your upbringing and thinking about ways that you could do these things efficiently when it comes to communication. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to your community, think about how you was up, how your upbringing was, and what things that you can add in your community. You get what I'm saying? When you're dealing with like domestic travel, you should be familiar with everything domestic around you so that you can get from point A to point Z. You get what I'm saying? So basically in this area of life, your mind should pretty much be making these things familiar so life could be easier for you. You get what I'm saying? So let's say if you got Mercury and Cancer in the fourth house. With that being said, Cancer is that's the house of Cancer, the fourth house. So with this alignment, you'll pretty much be you'll specialize in thinking about your family. You get what I'm saying, and how you can further your family. Let's say if let's say if you was a private lawyer and you dealt with trust and building private structures, that would be another thing you could focus on and make decisions making and be a good decision maker. um Let me see. Also, your roots. You should be thinking about like your culture, your roots, and how you can nurture that. That's what you should be thinking about. You know. Um, and also like let's say like when you need ideas and you need them to flow. You get what I'm saying? You should be like in your house. You should be in the private areas or around your family. So this how you should move if you have Mercury and Cancer in the fourth house. So if you have Mercury and Cancer in the fifth house deals with creativity, leisure activity, how you shine, casual, creative things like how you can create new things from scratch um, that you vibe with. You could be thinking about like leisure activity where you could pretty much um like nurture that inner child because this also deals with kids. It's like I said. So you need to pretty much be thinking about this area of life. This is your dad much have like your eating habits in order, your workout routine. They need to be on schedule. They don't need to be unorganized because what's gonna happen is it's gonna get you out of your mentality if things are unorganized. Um, let's say Mercury and Cancer in the seventh house. So this would be like nurturing relationships. So when it comes to relating to people on a one-on-one basis, um, when it comes to fairness, justice, law, language, you want to pretty much stick to your roots, your family when it comes to this area of life. You get what I'm saying? So this would be like arranged marriages. This would be like someone that used the justice or law system for family stuff. Like, let's say if like let's say if like you're dealing with like I'm not even gonna get that example. Let's just say when it comes to your relationships, you need to be focused on nurturing your relationships and how your relationships is familiar with your private life, your home life, how your family raised you, and your partner should also have a similar upbringing as you as well. You get what I'm saying? So Mercury and Cancer in the eighth house. The eighth house rules your hidden resources. It rules other people's resources, hidden desires. It rules shared resources, and other people appreciations. So you need to be able to think about everybody you know and the resources they have and how you can nurture them. You get what I'm saying? That's the main thing you need to be thinking about in this area of life. Other people's resources and how you can nurture them so they can appreciate over time. All right, so Mercury and Cancer in the ninth house. With displacement, you should be thinking about traveling mentally, physically, and spiritually, learning about stuff you can't learn in school so that you can make decisions on make the proper decisions. But you also need to relate that back to, like I said, how you was raised, how your upbringing was, your roots. And then once you do that, you'll pretty much be able to expand in a nurturing way. So it's not too chaotic. You get what I'm saying? You'll be able to expand in ways that you're familiar with like how you've been raised. You get what I'm saying? But pretty much, this area of life, you should be testing your upbringing, how you was raised. You get what I'm saying? And also, your culture. All this will be get put to the test when you travel, because this will test how strong your family is, how strong your roots is, what you've learned in your upbringing, and when you take that to another part of the world, will you be thriving or will you be in survival mode? You get what I'm saying? That's important. So you need to be thinking about this. You need to be thinking about that. Like, you need to be really thinking about that. So if you got Mercury and Cancer in the 10th house is your career, how others see you in public, legacy, long term growth, 10 plus years. So with that being said, you need to be focusing on nurturing your career for the long haul. It's like a baby. Baby take 9 months to be born. Well, the 10th house deal with 10 plus year goals. You need to be able to nurture this baby you call a career or a business. And this is where your mind need to be at. If it's in an area where you're thinking about family, when you got Mercury in the 10th house, where you need to be focusing on career, you're not going to be on point. You get what I'm saying? All right, so Mercury and Cancer in the 11th house. So you need to be thinking about masterminding groups, your association, how to utilize social networks, how to turn your dreams into reality. You need to be thinking about um, how to be your own unique self within these networks and groups and associations. But you also don't need to forget, you need to be familiar. So don't be an alien inside this group. You need to be able to provide, you need to be able to provide things that your family provided you, like how they raised you. That need to be an asset to this network. You get what I'm saying? Like, this network need to resemble your family life, your private life. It need to resemble your upbringing. So that's the area of life you need to be thinking in, and that's the qualifications the group need to be, or the association or the mastermind need to be, before you actually participate. Um, so if you got Mercury and Cancer in the 12th house rules dreams, illusions, spirituality, things like meditation. It also deals with sacrifice. It deals with trauma, good trauma and bad trauma, and collective consciousness. So with that being said, you need to in your mind you need to be thinking, what do I need to sacrifice so that my family could be in X position? You need to be thinking about, what dreams do I need to nurture so that I can get from point A to point Z. You need to be thinking about what illusions that I still have, that I had when I was younger, that I need to get out of, that I was raised in. This is how your mind need to think. You also need to be able to nurture your own mind by meditating, doing mindfulness activities, and things like that. So that's Mercury in Cancer through the 12 areas of life. Let's see if we got any questions. So, yeah. All right. So, we're about to finish this up. We almost halfway done. All right. So, Mercury and Leo through the 12 areas of life. So, if Leo rules your creativity, leisure activity, how you shine in this world. You get what I'm saying? It also deals with kids. You get what I'm saying? Or your kids. All right. So if you got Leo and Mercury and Leo in the first house, you should only be focusing on how you come across, like how you shine in this world. You should, like, you see how the sun is out and all the other stars disappear. This is that energy. Where the sun is at, all other stars disappear. So with that being said, you need to focus on how you're seeing. You get what I'm saying? What you're focused on individually. You need to be thinking about things that you need to be thinking about things that you relate to from a creative standpoint individually. Also, um, yeah, I would say that's it for the first house. The second house, right? You need to be focused on your resources, your mind. Like for example, You need to be thinking about what creative things that I could utilize, right? What casual things that I could do, you know, that pretty much bring me money or enhance my values in this world. That would be Leo and Mercury in the second house. The third house. So Leo and Mercury, or Mercury and Leo in the third house, right? So if the third house deals with communication, community, commerce, your conscious mind, and commuting, and your siblings, you need to be able to shine light. You need to think about ways that you can shine a light on these areas. That it could make way for your siblings. It can help when it comes to like um communicating. You need to be communicating in a creative way. Don't don't just communicate in like a logical way. You need to be communicating in a creative way. Let's say you need to express yourself in a relationship. You need to be able to like write a poem or something to express yourself, or write it like a book or something. Don't just express yourself in in a very like blunt, logical way. You get what I'm saying? Also, when it comes to your community need to be shining. Your community need to be you need to be focused like mentally on how you can literally you could be the star of your community. Like let's say if you was a part of a band or something, it would be the same energy as you the one on the microphone and everyone else is in the background. This is how it needs to be for your community. Your community needs to pretty much play the background while you're the front, you're the face, the sun, Leo. You get what I'm saying? Another thing is um, when it comes to domestic travel. So when it comes to domestic traveling, um, you need to pretty much be able to. Let's see, how would I want to say this? You need to pretty much be able to, like, far as domestic travel, you need to be able to like. I don't even want to get into that. I already did 30 seconds of that one. I'm gonna move on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? So if you got all right, so Mercury and Leo in the fourth house. The fourth house rules your private life, rules your roots, your family, and home. You get what I'm saying? You need to be thinking about ways that you can shine a light on your family. You get what I'm saying? Let's say if something happened in your private life or with your family that's hidden, you need to be the one that you need to have thoughts in a way that it could reveal the stuff that wasn't revealed. You get what I'm saying? Shine a light on it. You need to have passion and you need to have pride in your culture and where you're from. This is that energy. That's like in Ethiopia, they have pride in not being colonized. They have pride in their culture. You get what I'm saying? This is the same example that I'm giving you. Mercury and Gemini. I mean Mercury and Leo in the fourth house. Let's say if you have Mercury and Leo in the fifth house, which is this is Leo house. In this house, you want to make sure that you're not like a narcissist, but you literally need to focus on this energy. So you would just focus on your creative abilities. You would focus on how you would shine. You would focus on things you could do for fun, like leisure activity. You would focus on like your future kids. And then when you do that, it'll help you with decision making and making decisions that you need to make throughout your day to day routine and patterns in life. All right. So, if you got Mercury and Leo in the sixth house, right? So with that being said, you want to pretty much be the face. Like let's say for example, when somebody say, "Who do you know is the best person when it comes to their eating habits, working out, being organized?" Right? You need to be that person, that face of whatever that is. You get what I'm saying? Like when someone you know is thinking about somebody have good eating habits, you need to be an example of that. You get what I'm saying? Also, with that being said, you'll pretty much be able to shine light on where other people need to get in shape. Other people need to pretty much have better eating habits. Because when you come around, what they'll see is how you operate, and then if they not on that same pattern, what it do, it would trigger them, and then they would either get in line or they would they would feel bad. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you want to be focused like far as mentally. You want to just focus on shining when it comes to your daily habits, your routine, your health, and far as being organized. You get what I'm saying? In this area of life, you can be a really good planner as well, and you can be really creative when it comes to planning and being organized. And this is how you want to communicate as well. You want to communicate in a way that other people understand what plans you have for them, but it needs to be fun and casual and leisure like. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. But yeah, let me get some more energy going. All right, so Mercury and Leo in the seventh house. This house deals with your one-on-one relationships. It deals with fairness, justice, law, and language. So, with that being said, if you have Mercury and Leo in the seventh house, your partner, how you would think, right? You would think like, um, your partner, you would think like, all right, as far as relating to others on a one-on-one basis, make sure that the people you partner with have something about them that stands out. You get what I'm saying? Make sure not only you're shining, but they're shining as well. Make sure both of you guys can do the same leisure activity, creative activities, and you're not just with a born partner. Um, yeah, and then let me see, Mercury and Leo in the eighth house. Eighth house is your hidden desires, shared resources, other people resources, other people values, other people appreciations. So if you have Mercury and Leo in the eighth house, you need to be thinking about ways that you can shine light on resources that's hidden. You need to be thinking about ways that you could use your creativity as a resource that other people can also use as well and share. So Mercury and Leo in the ninth house or the ninth area of life. So ninth area of life deals with foreign travel, higher education, stuff you can't learn in school and regurgitate. It also deals with filtering knowledge and turning that knowledge into wisdom. You also need to be focusing on being in first person and expanding mentally, physically, and spiritually. But how are you supposed to do that? You're supposed to do that in a way that you're shining, right? When I mean shining, you're the example of what that's supposed to be. You need to be doing that in a creative type of way. You need to be doing that in a leisure, fun type of way, right? It's similar to when teachers teach. Some teachers they just teach. Some teachers they'll take the students outside. They'll give them demonstrations, and they'll be more fun when they teaching. This is the way you need to go about it. All right. So if you got Mercury and Leo in the tenth house, you need to be focusing on your career, right? And your career should be based on things that you could pretty much shine in. You need to be the face of that career. Like this is like the face of a CEO. You don't have to be the CEO. You could be the face of a company, like a mascot. Like let's say, you could be the face of a company. If you was dealing with sports, this would be like the face of a team. You get what I'm saying? Don't necessarily have to be the captain or the mascot. This just being the face, the light of what people see that team as. You also want to get into careers where you could be creative. You could also express yourself when it comes to, you know, taking up all the shine. Like everything need to be built around you. You know how like Dark Rose, for example, the Chicago Bulls is built around Dark Rose, and he was the star. The same way the solar system is built like around the sun, or vice versa. You want to be that star that everything is built around. That's how the sun operates. And we're talking about Leo, Mercury and Leo right now. So you got to make sure, whatever career you're in, make sure everything is surrounding you. You get what I'm saying? And make sure you can express creativity. Make sure it's not like a serious type of career where, so that you can still express You can go about it in a leisure type of way. You get what I'm saying? Um, Mercury in 11th house and Leo. So you want to be thinking and making decision making around masterminding, group thinking, group communication, uh, turning dreams into goals by giving it a deadline. Your network, social network, your associations, being an individual inside them associations, and uh, and also technology and your the collective consciousness. So, with that being said, you want to pretty much be able to shine in this group. In this group full of people, this mastermind, you want to pretty much be the one that everybody's surrounding. So, let's say if everybody talking in that group, they're going to send you out there to be the face of it. You get what I'm saying? That's like, for example, what's his name? Dr. Folk, the guy that did the COVID thing. You get what I'm saying? He might not have ran everything, but when it came to speaking, even the president stepped to the side and let him talk. He was the face. You get what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that whatever you're dealing, whatever group you're in, you're the face. You're the one you're the shining light in this group. You need to be thinking like that. You need to be thinking like that. So if you got Mercury and Leo in the 12th house rules your dreams, illusions, what you need to sacrifice. It also deals with it also deals with good trauma and bad trauma. It also deals with collective consciousness when it comes to the emotions. You get what I'm saying? So if you got Mercury 11th house, you need to learn how to sacrifice how you're seen sometimes. You need to learn how to you need to learn how to like be the face or an example of of certain dreams that you want to come to reality. You not only have, but you have to like be the face of it. You got to be the example. I said if you're dealing with a trauma or an addiction, you get what I'm saying? Of how you need to be the example of the person to get out of that addiction, out of that trauma. So to go about that day. Well, we're talking about metaphysics right now in the 12th house. So you need to do that same thing, operate just like the sun, but in that area of life. You get what I'm saying? So that's the sun. That's Mercury and Leo through the 12 houses. Mercury. So next we're going over Mercury and Virgo through the 12 areas of life. Virgo's dealing with your daily habits. That means your habits, your workout habits, your day-to-day routine, scheduling. It deals with jobs. It also deals with being organized and cynical, right? So if you got Virgo in the first house, you need to be pretty much you need to be communicating about if you got Mercury in the third house, you need to be thinking and making decisions around um health in regards to you as an individual. You need to be planning your day-to-day routine. You need to be planning like your workout schedule, what you're going to eat, how you need to stay organized. If you're not doing this and you're worrying about others, you're doing it wrong. So that's summing it up. So Virgo, Mercury and Virgo in the second house. So the second house deals with your values. It deals with your appreciation and money, right? So you need to have healthy finances. So you need to be thinking about in your head, how can I make sure my finances is healthy? How can I make sure that anything that I touch is organized and it's predictable and it's fixated? You get what I'm saying? Because the second house is ruled by Taurus, and this deals with things that's fixated and appreciate over time. So how could I come up with a schedule to water this plant every day so that it can appreciate over time? That's the energy you should be in. That's how your mind should be. You know what I'm saying? So Virgo, Mercury and Virgo in the third house. You know what I'm saying? So the third house rules communication, community, commerce like marketplaces, commuting. It also deals with your siblings as well in your conscious mind. So you're going to be thinking, and also I forgot to say this: Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, so this is a good house to have that in. So you need to be thinking about how could I organize things in my community? How could I organize things when I travel so I'm not just traveling to random places? How could I make sure that I'm communicating in a healthy way? This is how you need to be thinking. If you're not thinking like that, and you're thinking about you're thinking about just not communicating and just doing something on your own, like outside of your community, this is not the right way to do it if you got Mercury and Virgo in the 11th, I mean the third house. Because you need to pretty much be like um keeping your community organized. You need to be keeping your communication organized. This is how you should be thinking. You should have like notes, you should have a notebook writing stuff down. You should have reminders, schedules, all of that when you're dealing with this energy. All right, so if you got Mercury and Virgo in the fourth house, that's your private life, roots, your family, your home, your culture. So in this area of life, you need to be thinking about how you can make sure that your private life is organized. You need to make sure that that your family is healthy when it comes to like their eating habits. I know in America, like my family, I make sure that they have good eating habits and everything. And I'm very cynical when it comes to that. So this would be the same energies of that. You need to make sure things is in order, right? From the root on up. Mercury and Virgo in the fifth house. So this deals with creativity, leisure activity, how you shine, casual activity, and kids. Your kids specifically. You get what I'm saying? So with this placement, you need to make sure that that you're expressing yourself through creative things, but make sure it's organized. It's not just too creative and just don't have any grounding like Pisces. Make sure your creativity is organized and it's do it in a healthy way. You get what I'm saying? You want to communicate. Um, no, not want to communicate. You want to make sure when you do leisure activity with this placement, you're thinking about ways that it's a balance between having fun and staying organized. You don't want to just be doing leisure activity. You want to make sure you have a schedule with all of these things. And also how you shine. You need to be shining in this area of life, but do it in a way where it's organized, it's healthy, and you're pretty much having oversight on what you're doing because you need to stay organized. All right, so let me see if we got anybody else. So yeah, you go ahead and double tap that screen, drop the like and some encouragement. Creating lives isn't easy, but it's yeah, bro. I appreciate it. This I'm just starting this philosophy um on this channel or whatever, but I usually just work out. But for this, I did 1,000 sit-ups straight, non-stop. That's the last live stream. But yeah, we're getting some philosophy going. All right. So with that being said, all right. All right. Mercury and Virgo in the sixth house. So Virgo is the sixth house is Virgo house. So all you want to do is you just want to make sure that you're organized with your daily habits, your eating habits, staying on routine and pattern. Always have a pattern. Always have. Don't just go with the flow with this energy. Have a pattern. You might want to have a job, even if you're the CEO of your business. You need to be working for your company. You get what I'm saying? So when you fill out them loan applications, don't put when they ask for source of income, you shouldn't put, oh, I own this business. You should say I'm an employee and I'm work for my company. That's what you should say. You get what I'm saying? Now I can't give you that. I can't give you legal advice, but I'll just give you an example. Um, so if you got Mercury and Virgo in the seventh house, you want to be organized. You want to be in an organized relationship, not something that just happened randomly. You need to be thinking about ways that you can organize stuff, organize your dates. You need to be able to make sure your partner have healthy eating habits. You need to make sure your partner is in shape. Unless you're going to be very cynical, you're going to keep picking at your partner, and you're going to be thinking about how they could be better all the time. You get what I'm saying? All right, so if we got Mercury in the eighth, Mercury and Virgo in the eighth house. This is the house where you're going to be thinking about hidden resources, other people values, other people appearances, and shared resources. You need to be able to organize this whole thing from start to finish. So let's say if you're dealing with shared resources, you need to be able to see how the entire pipeline is ran, and you need to pretty much be able to make sure it's ran smoothly every day, so that things can flow smoothly. Because you're not dealing with your own, you're dealing with others as well. You also need to pretty much you could think about like um a shared resource could be like for you health advice. You could give people health advice, not health advice, not health because we can't give people health advice. You could give people advice on what to eat. You can give people advice on scheduling. You can give people advice on their day-to-day routines, and then this alone could be a shared resource for both of you guys. You get what I'm saying? But make sure you do it in an organized way. So if you got Mercury and Virgo in the ninth house, you're going to be dealing with foreign travel, higher education. You're going to be dealing with knowledge that you can't learn in school, like knowledge you have to learn on the fly outside of school. Let's say if you're reading a book, the minute you close that book and go apply that knowledge to life, you're in the ninth house. In this area of life, you still want to remain organized. You don't just want to just go. You don't want to just close that book and just go about life. You want to have like a step to do list, like oh, step one, step two, step three. You get what I'm saying? So things can be healthy. When you travel, you want to make sure you're thinking about your health. You want us to make sure that you're thinking about how you're going to execute on things in an organized way, and you're not just traveling just to travel. Um, you want to stay. You want to think about ways that you can stay in shape when you're traveling, and ways that you can and when you're traveling mentally and spiritually instead of physically, you want to make sure it's healthy and organized as well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Mercury and Virgo in the 10th house. 10th house rules your career, how you're seen in public. It rules your legacy and 10 plus year goals. So you want to be thinking about ways that you can organize your goals from point A to point Z. You want to be thinking about your career and making sure you're in a healthy career where you can actually set your own schedules or be a part of a schedule you're comfortable with. You want to make sure that you're in a career where you can do research, um or come up with information where you like and organize information for other people. This is how you should be thinking in this area of life. You know what I'm saying? Organizing business or organizing things for the long term. So if you got Mercury and Virgo in the 11th house, that house rules masterminding groups, networks, social networking, being an individual inside them networks, turning dreams into goals by giving them a deadline, right? So you want to be able to organize these groups so they can be a healthy group and it can be a healthy experience. If it's not organized, you're gonna be picking at this group all the time and telling them, and they're gonna think you're bossy because you're always telling them how they could be better, how they could do this better, how they need to be doing this. You get what I'm saying? Because everything could turn into a job to you, and, you know. So Mercury and Virgo in the 12th house rules your dreams, your illusions, spirituality like mindfulness. It also deals with meditation, things like meditation, sacrifice. It deals with trauma, good and bad trauma, and it also deals with collective consciousness. Now, with that being said, you need to, since this is opposing houses or opposite of the 12th house. Virgo is the opposite, right? What you want to do is this is a learning curve because with Virgo, it's an earth sign. Earth sign is practical. Pisces is not. There is a water sign. It's literally opposite. And what happens is you need to pretty much be able to still do these things, but and you need to think about your dreams in an organized way. Your dreams just can't be dreams. You have to write them down and organize it, and you have to pretty much You gotta pretty much be able to work on something every day, create a schedule around your dreams, so they don't become illusions. You get what I'm saying? And you need to know what you need to organize and just so you can sacrifice it when it comes to, like, let's say if you wanted to make X amount of money with your career. Well, a good thing, things that Mercury and Virgos usually sacrifice is their time because it's dealing with day to day scheduling, routine, and pattern. So you might have to sacrifice that time so that your dreams can come true, so it won't be just an illusion. That's Mercury and Virgo through the 12 houses. Go ahead and double tap that screen. Also, you can drop your zodiac sign or your placements, and I'll give you a free birth chart reading at the end. All right. So we in the seventh house. So Libra, we almost there. So we more than halfway done. All right. So Mercury and Virgo in the first. I mean Merc. All right. So Mercury and Libra in the first house. The first house was your individuality, how you're seen as an individual, your personality. So it's a learning curve here because Libra is opposite of that. Libra is like worrying about other people, worrying about one-on-one relationships. They don't like really worrying about their self. They like relating to others. They like fairness, justice. They like stuff like that. Aries, they don't. The first house, they really don't care about that much stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like on that in that regards. So with that being said, you need to pretty much be able to see both sides of the situation because you need to balance it out because Libra is a scale. So how people would see you as an individual, right, versus how you need to communicate. They would see you as someone who's trying to be fair, who's trying to be just, who's trying to relate to someone else all the time, right? But what you need to think about so people don't try to treat you as a pushover, you need to be thinking about ways that you can utilize your relationships and put people in position so that they can be leaders. So you can still lead by putting people in position to be leaders. You could also be thinking about um you can also be thinking about ways you can relate to others on a one-on-one basis. Um, and people will see you as someone who's fair, but you need to pretty much make sure you're thinking about ways when you're in these partnerships, on these one-on-one situations. You need to be thinking about how things can be fair. You get what I'm saying? How things can be just and balanced, so everybody can get their way. It's a learning curve, but once you get there, you'll know. If you communicate with someone and you have these placements, just keep talking about just keep relating, just keep talking about fairness and stuff like that, and people will get what you're saying. So if you have Mercury and Libra in the second house, these are so the second house deals with your values, your appreciation, and money, right? Libra is also ruled by Venus, and Venus is ruled the second house as well. So with that being said, you need to be able to use your relationships, use the the justice system, use law to make money. You know what I'm saying? To find relationships you appreciate with, you need to relate to these people, places, and things. So Mercury and Libra in the third house, right? If the third house rules commerce, like marketplaces, if the third house rules communication, if the third house rules community, if the third house rules commuting, you need to figure out. You get what I'm saying? Um, you need to be thinking about ways that you can work and relate to others so that you can do these things more effectively and efficiently. You get what I'm saying? When you communicate, you need to focus on when you communicate with others, like communicate in a way where you're thinking about how to kind of affect the community, the overall community. Think about ways when you communicate. Think about, well, when you're trying to understand a marketplace, try to think about it in a way where it affects people on a one-on-one basis. You get what I'm saying? Then you'll understand. I said if you trade in stocks and you're dealing with and one of the companies is like waste management or something like that, and an environmental based company, right? And it snows. right? Well, we know up north in the U.S. when it snows, they bring the trucks out because it affects people's life on a one-on-one basis. You know what I'm saying? So if you trade in stocks, you'll be able to see how that environmental factor control that entire stock because it affect people's life on a one-on-one basis or it affect the community. This is how you need to be thinking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. So if you got Mercury and Libra, if you got Mercury and Libra in the fourth house, you need to be focusing on your family relationships, especially on a one-on-one basis. How your roots and your home life develop. You need to be thinking about and communicating based on if people have a shared culture or shared background or shared upbringing in you, you can relate to these people and relating to these people, your communication will go either further. Like you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, um Libra is relating one on one, relationships, fairness, justice, law, and language. You get what I'm saying? So when you communicate, it needs to be pretty much it could be on a one on one basis because this is private. So you'll do well at communicating on a one on one basis, not with a group of people. You'll be good at communicating about your family, like basically help. Like let's say if you was a family lawyer, this one position will help you relate to other people on a one-on-one basis, and it will help if you're talking about family stuff, private life, nurturing. So you'll be able to nurture these people on a one-on-one basis. You get what I'm saying? So that things could be fair and just. All right, so let's say Mercury and Libra in the fifth house. So fifth house use your creativity, your leisure activity, how you shine, casual activity, and kids. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, um, when you're talking to someone, you need to be talking on a one-on-one basis, but do it in a way where you're being creative. Do it in a way where you're being like not too deep but casual. Do it in a way where it's fun, right? But make sure it's one on one. Do it in a fair way that people can understand you more. You get what I'm saying? Um, Mercury and Libra in the sixth house. So with Mercury and Libra in the sixth house, you can help people on a one on one basis when it comes to their day to day routine, day to day day to day patterns, day to day schedule, um, habits. You can help people one on one with their habits, whether it's their eating habits or workout habits. And then you want to be fair in this area of life. Also, um, also this is Libra house. You get what I'm saying? Hold on. No, it's not Libra house. So Mercury and Libra in the sixth house. You want to just make sure that you're on point with your one-on-one relationships. If you're like in a relationship, make sure your partner is healthy. Make sure they're on point because if they're not on point, you're gonna be always talking about it and cynical. You get what I'm saying? And the same energy applies for the seventh house because it's like intertwined. You get what I'm saying? So the seventh house is Libra house. So all you really need to do is focus on relating on a one-on-one basis, relationships, fairness, justice, law, and pretty much language. They need to have the same communication style as you, or they need to at least understand what you're saying. Um, so Mercury and Libra in the eighth house. So these are your hidden resources. These are other people values, hidden desires, other people appreciation, and shared resources. So you need to have a lot of one-on-one relationships where these people have different resources in different parts of the world, different industries, and you need to pretty much ask yourself, what do you want to get out of this? Then you need to have a desire that's inside of you that you can see, okay, this is the reason why I need it, and you need to pretty much be able to use your one-on-one relationships to extract or use these hidden or shared resources. You get what I'm saying? That's how you need to be thinking. So Mercury and Libra in the ninth house. So mentally, physically, and spiritually expanding. That's what the ninth house is, and it's dealing with when you it's dealing with stuff you learn outside of school, stuff you learn outside of books, not regurgitating. So make sure that anytime you're relating to someone on a one-on-one basis in a fair type of way, make sure you guys can expand mentally, physically, and spiritually, and you're not just thinking like based on what that other person is thinking and just trying to relate and go with the flow. Make sure it's expansive and make sure it's not nothing they're just regurgitating and repeating for that they learned in a book or something. Um, Mercury and Libra and Mercury and Libra and the 10th house deals with your career, how you're seen in public life, your legacy. All right, so you would do really good in thinking about things in pairs. Okay, so if you was like, let's say if you was a police officer, and your police officers usually have a partner, you thinking on a one-on-one basis, and you have a partner while you work. You want to think like that, like be in fields where you can communicate with people on a one-on-one basis, or you have a partner. You're dealing with justice, you're dealing with law, and you're pretty much you're bringing you're being relative, but at the same time you're being fair. You get what I'm saying? Um, well, I gave you an example. A good career of this would be someone who is in law, that's a lawyer or police or whatever, and you want to think like that. You want to think based on what you can use in regards to your relationship. You want to be able to use the justice system, use laws to pretty much further your career and in your legacy. You get what I'm saying? That's what Mercury and Libra in the 10th house. You want to be in a career where you can utilize teamwork, and you need to be thinking about teamwork. This is the main thing you want to think about: teamwork, fairness, justice, law, and being relative. You get what I'm saying? All right, so Mercury and Libra in 11th house. 11th house rules masterminding, group communication, turning dreams into goals. By giving them the deadline, your network, social network, your associations, being an individual inside these associations. It also deals with technology and your collective consciousness. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to logical collective consciousness, not emotional. So inside this group, you want to pretty much be able to relate to everybody inside this group on a one-on-one basis. You get what I'm saying? When you do that, things will be more balanced on the group. It's kind of like how, let's say if someone is in working in an institution and they're like a fucking their HR. That HR department is able to, touch base with everybody to make sure they're going along with the group. And also that HR person knows everyone on a one-on-one basis. This is how you want to think when you got this alignment, you know, so that you can pretty much turn your dreams into reality. And you want to make sure that you can focus. You mean you can work as a team? That's the number one question you ask yourself mentally when you got this alignment. Is this group I'm in? Is it fair? Is it just? Is it teamwork? And if so, that's your group. You get what I'm saying? All right, Mercury and Libra in the 12th house deals with dreams, illusions, spirituality like meditation, mindfulness, sacrifice, trauma, like good trauma, bad trauma, and collective consciousness, the emotional collective consciousness though. So you need to be able to think based on what's relative to you, what trauma you relate to, how you can transmute that bad trauma to a good trauma, utilizing your relationships, utilizing fairness, how to pretty much work with other people to manifest your dreams, how to pretty much yeah, that's pretty much that, bro. So that's Mercury and Libra through the 12 hours of life. Let me see. Go ahead and double tap that screen. So Mercury, and let me see where we at. Oh my gosh. We've been doing this for a little while. I'm gonna hurry up and run through this. We got 10 more minutes. I'm about to run through this. I apologize, but I have to hurry up. All right. So, Mercury and Scorpio do the 12 hours of life. Mercury and Scorpio. I'm gonna finish this in like 5 to 10 more minutes. Uh, all right. So, Mercury and Scorpio. All right. So Mercury and Scorpio do the first house. All right. You want to focus on. You want to be thinking about things that you desire in this house. Only think about shit you desire. Don't think about shit else. Think about ways that you can extract resources in your personal life, and what's pretty much you can share resources with other people. If you can't do that, then don't put yourself in these positions individually. All right. So I'm hurrying up. I'm hurrying up, and I gotta hurry up because I've been going for a little while. Every day we got these, so just subscribe so that you can stay tuned. Turn on that notification bell. Comment your Mercury below, and I'll give you a free natal chart reading. All right. So Mercury and Scorpio in the second house. Mercury and Scorpio in the second house. You want to focus on. You want to be an outsider. See where other people appreciate stuff at, and figure out how you can share this resource. That's the second house. Boom. You see how easy that was. All right. Mercury and Scorpio in the third house. You want to pretty much be able to look at your community, see what resources is there and hidden. Hold on. Let me turn on this light. All right. You want to be able to look at your community. Look how everybody else communicating. Look at the market, commerce, even your siblings, because the third house deal with that. Then you want to pretty much be able to see what resources they have. You want to see if you guys have similar shared resources, um, shared appreciation, and you want to get in where you fit in. This is how you want to think. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you have if you have Mercury and Scorpio in the fourth house, you get what I'm saying? You want to see what resources your family have. You want to see how you want to see what shared appreciation and values your family have and how your private life is. And you want to pretty much be able to extract resources from your family. And even how your family raised you could be a resource in itself. You know what I'm saying? Let's say if your family had vehicles or acres of land, you could use this as a resource. This is how you need to be thinking as a Mercury and Scorpio in the fourth house. All right. So Mercury and Scorpio in the fifth house. So you want to see how, like, what images you projecting. You want to see what images other people are projecting. You want to see how people having fun in the world, how people doing leisure activity, and you want to pretty much build a business around that, so that now for them to even have fun, they got to come through you. Share resources. Boom. Well, for them to even do that leisure activity, they had to come to you. It also rules kids. So you can be like, okay, I'm a casual date, but then we gonna have kids. This is kids is a resource, and it's gonna be shared. Boom. All right. 6 hours, and I'm running through these because I gotta finish up. All right. So 6 hours. Um, you want to see other people day to day routine and schedule. See, oh, other people work jobs. That's what other people do. Other people hit the gym. Other people eat this food. You see all that from outside in, and figure out how you can create a shared resource around that. You get what I'm saying? Shared appreciation. Maybe you hit the gym with them. Maybe you eat the same food with them. You get what I'm saying? That's how it works. So let's say a Mercury and Scorpio in the seventh house. Now you and your partner, anybody you work with, y'all just need to have um a similar desires, hidden desires that you guys share the same. You guys need to have shared resources and such and such. That's how I need to work. If you get what I'm saying, make sure you have the same desires. Be thinking about ways that you can utilize your partner and their resources as well. All right. Let's say Mercury and Scorpio in the ninth house. You need to be thinking like before you travel, you need to be thinking like what resources is over there where I'm traveling at? And how can I extract that resource? Or how can I share resources with someone there and partner with them? That would be the ninth house. If you have Mercury in the 10th house in Scorpio, your career would be based on dissecting stuff, research. You're focusing on stuff behind the scenes. And your mind should be working like that too. Like how doctors, average human don't know how to hard work, but a doctor, they know how to hard work, they know how to fix it, how to and things that appreciate. So the 11th house deals with your so Scorpio and Mercury in the 11th house deals with your associations, your group, your network, social network, who you're associated with, being a unique individual inside them associations, social media, and turning dreams into reality by giving it a deadline. You need to pretty much be able to only join that association or network if you have a desire that network has of yours. Also, you need to be focused on ways you can you have shared resources with this group or network so that you guys can have the same vision and you're not just the only one to have that same desire or seem like you're just leeching off them. You know what I'm saying? Scorpio and Mercury and Scorpio in the 12th house rules dreams, illusions, good trauma, bad trauma. Pretty much it deals with collective consciousness emotionally. You need to figure out what shared resources people have in this area of life, because trauma could even be a resource. You get what I'm saying? But you need to figure out how you could transmute that, because Scorpio rules that transmutation process. So understanding that process, and then actually you can actually heal people with this position too, because you understand that hidden thing that they don't understand, and you can even give them an illusion, and they'll be able to. Let me see. I'm gonna come back and do the rest of these later on. We're gonna have a part two starting at Sagittarius.